You're here for the shot today?
I'm not taking the shot.
Oh.
Yeah, they've asked me about 11 times now. You know, the governor was here yesterday. Yeah. He didn't even stop by here, did he? He was at old folks' place yesterday, Binding One or something like that. Yes.
It's free, it's here, it's easy.
I'm not interested, so thank you.
I might ask you another time.
I know you will. It'll be no then too. Yeah, I'm back in the room. Hold up. So that was Rob, the director of the program. And you didn't know that the governor was here yesterday?
Today, Governor Lamont saying Connecticut is up for that challenge. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Patricia Del Rio is joining us live now from Danbury, where Lamont spoke earlier today. And Patricia, what did the governor have to say about all of this?
Governor Lamont applauds President Biden for setting this May 1st schedule, and he says that we can do it. The state was already on a similar schedule with our current rollout, and the governor says we may even be able to beat the deadline.
So I appreciate the president's challenge, May 1. We're going to beat it.
Governor Ned Lamont today applauding President Biden's deadline for all Americans to be eligible to be vaccinated by May 1st. Speaking today at a vaccination event in Danbury, the governor said Connecticut is up for the challenge.
And that's pretty much what our schedule has been. Obviously, the only limitation we have is the number of vaccines we have that are coming. Right now, we had planned May 3rd. We're going to be able to accelerate that. We're getting more people vaccinated faster and more vaccines coming from Washington, D.C. than we had anticipated.
The president's signing of the rescue plan will now allow for more vaccines to be made available, and Senator Blumenthal says here in Connecticut and around the country, it'll be a game changer.
One of the most important things about this American Rescue Plan, it puts vaccine manufacturer on turbocharge. Vaccines are going to be available to everyone who wants it by May. Period. End of story. Everybody who wants to be vaccinated will have it by May.
All right, y'all, top of the fucking morning. So listen here, let me tell y'all a little story, all right? Y'all bear with me, I'm smoking cigarettes, my first one in the morning. Let me tell you something. I mentioned to you guys that on the 31st now, we got to get out of this place that we're at, this hotel that we're at. So they're going beyond the means of trying to get everybody shot up and getting COVID shots, this experimental COVID shot that we have no telling what the ramifications are 10 years from now, 5 years from now, hell, even a year from now. And with there being now 3 different renditions of this medication, one from Moderna, one from Pfizer's, one from Johnson & Johnson, which they put these together quickly. Still ain't got a cure for AIDS. They still ain't got a cure for cancer. But this worldwide pandemic that's wiped out over, I don't know how many millions of people worldwide, being 550,000 here, 550,000 worldwide is almost 1 million people. They got a cure for that. And they did it in less time than they did cancer and AIDS. My mother was a nurse, okay? I know all kinds of medicines. Me, myself, I'm heavily, and when I say heavily allergic to penicillin, I mean, if I go to the hospital, please tell them don't give me penicillin because it breaks me out in hives. I go crazy, I get heart palpitations, it's crazy. For the past, I'm gonna say 2 weeks, since the indulgence and the more vaccinations were available to the state of Connecticut, especially now with the whole stimulus bill being passed and more money being allocated towards states, because it wasn't like that before this money was allocated towards the state just recently with Biden's bill being passed, okay? Let's keep that in notion. There wasn't a knock on the door every 5 minutes, hey, you need the COVID vaccine? Now I've counted 11 times, including once last night and again this morning, because they knew they were going to be inoculating these gentlemen here. Which brings me to this, our governor, Ned Lamont. See, Ned Lamont yesterday snuck into town. He snuck into town and he thought that he was unannounced. But see, the streets talk, baby. And one of the good things about it is I speak Spanish. So yesterday I overheard a few people in the Latino community, because they watched probably one of the Univisions or something like that, and they probably got the information, that Ned Lamont was going to be right here in his town. See, the place where I live at is actually where the governor, in the area where the governor's from. See, this is Stanford, Greenwich, where Diana Ross and a couple other rich people live at. Well, that's right down the road. In fact, it's only about, I say 5 to 10 minutes of drive here. Ned Lamont snuck into town yesterday, and he went to basically an old convalescent home for the most part. It took me a few minutes to find the place on foot, but I found it. So I went there. The detail was there, news was out there, everybody was out there, and I'm sitting right in the corner, and I'm watching this goofy-looking guy sit there. I'm sorry to call you goofy-looking, but you look kind of strange. You look like you just don't know what's going on. It looks like you only read one thing, and that's money. Ned Lamont sneaks in, but one of the funny things is, I'm standing right here at the place where I stay at. He didn't stop by here. Why didn't you stop by here, Ned Lamont, where there's roaches in the rooms? Why didn't you stop by here, Ned Lamont, where there's freaking plugs, 2 of them, hanging off the wall? There's holes burnt into the carpet. There's roaches running amok in the room, and bed bugs, by that matter. I'm pretty sure of it. I had somebody in my comments section say to me, and they brought it to light, and I had to go back and look at the video. Yeah, I was right. That was a bed bug. And the other one was a roach. That one was a bed bug. And it's hard to say, but they might be all throughout that hotel. And they probably ain't telling us. That's the funny thing about it. I gotta smoke me another cigarette. I'm in danger, yo. When we go back to that facility, they try to send us to that facility. I already told them. I said, yo, I ain't going back there. I ain't going there. I ain't going there. You're not giving me some weirdo inoculation that I don't know what's going on with it. Half of America doesn't want to take it. Have you ever heard of the Tuscany experiments? Have you ever heard of any of these things, Ned Lamont? Ned Lamont, you and Chris Murphy came to the town you from yesterday. You gonna come to Bill Sharp's town and show your ass? Didn't even stop by and have the decency to come by and see the facilities in which you put people. See, one of the facilities is right there. As you see right there where those trucks are passing at that hotel, and another one is right here where I stay at. Yeah, isn't that weird? They're right perpendicular to each other. Once again, that's one of the places right there, and that's the other one right there, the one I stay at. Now I'm asking Ned Lamont, why didn't you stop by yesterday? Why didn't you come see any of the facilities? And why did you pick the picture perfect, if I want to say press perfect, press ready location to be at? And evidently you knew you was going to be there a couple days ahead of time, because I found it out by just listening to the Spanish community. Entonces, claro que sí. So I'm lost here where the governor has put people in these dilapidated hotel rooms, doesn't want the state or the city to see that. But you want to see everybody with you grinning with a whole bunch of immigrants that you know that can't speak English that well, that need interpreters, and can't speak up for themselves if they feel something is wrong. And most of these people are old people. You want to make sure that the cameras see that they're inoculated, but you don't want the cameras to see the shit that I showed you. Ned Lamont, I'm going to say this to you. I've spoken now to 3 lawyers. 3. 1, 2, 3. One of them that contacted your office. I'm going to say this to you one last time. Ned Lamont, I'm not leaving Stanford, Connecticut. I love Stanford. I love the people of Stanford. But more importantly, I'm going to say this to you, Ned Lamont. Y'all better make sure y'all give me somewhere quick. Because the money you're going to have to pay out for the damages mentally that I've suffered, the emotional trauma that I suffered, you might have to dig into your own bag, sir. And I think you got it, don't you? The stuff that they're peddling to people here in the state of Connecticut, as far as what's going on, as far as what is allowed to us, as far as using these poor people as experimental dummies, in my opinion, for a vaccine you know nothing about. Now, let's say that this vaccine goes awry, right? Let's say that this vaccine shows that there's some complication in women's pregnancies. Let's say in the long run, this makes women dormant to being pregnant. Let's say that along the line, this makes certain types of ailments that were already pre-existing in certain individuals and makes it worse. Let's say if this vaccine somehow or another develops new ailments that we never would have thought of. Let's say this is an experimental vaccine. I don't care if it's from all 3 of them, and I'll reiterate to you again. For the past 20 years, we've been trying to find a cure to AIDS, but you're trying to tell me that you found out 1, not 2, but 3 vaccines within a couple of months. And a lot of people that look like me, I don't trust you with your vaccine. Okay? And justifiably so, as I've heard reiterated, not only from Dr. Fauci, but from many other different doctors across the nation who also seem to agree with me, including my mother who worked in the profession, that had probably taken an experimental vaccine, first one out. It's like going to buy a video game system or going to buy a new product when it first come out. You don't get the first batch of the product that came out. You don't even get the second batch. Sometimes you wait to the latter end of the second batch or the third batch and you see what the reshelf is like, and then you say to yourself, well, maybe it's a possibility. Governor Ned Lamont, if a governor is that what they want to call you, you and Chris Murphy should be ashamed of yourself for coming to the state, coming to the town of Stanford, which you are from. Okay? Greenwich and Stanford's the same goddamn thing. It's a shame that you came to this town and you didn't come check any of the facilities. You didn't, and if you did it very sneakily. You were in and out. How come you and Chris Murphy didn't tour here? And more importantly, I think the news agency start asking the same question. How come you didn't come here and tour here and see what you could do in full complexity? Sir, like I said, I have every intent on suing you, your constituency, and your office for the situation at hand. And if you think that, oh, it can't happen to me, I'm Ned Lamont, I'm the governor, I got good lawyers, you're fooling yourself. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Ned Lamont. I'm watching you. This dude's gonna ask me 11 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 times I want to take that COVID-19 shot. Calculation. Go school pillow. It'll be no tonight. It'll be no tomorrow. It'll be no the day after that. You gonna come to Bill Sharpstown and show your ass?